The call to prayer had just faded into the evening sky when everything changed. The air was still, heavy with the quiet reverence of fasting broken and hearts turning toward worship. Families gathered, hands raised, voices softened in gratitude. And in the middle of that sacred moment, my world collapsed. My chest tightened without warning, a sharp, crushing force that stole the breath from my lungs. I remember reaching for the table, trying to steady myself, but my body gave out beneath me. Plates shattered, someone screamed my name, and then nothing. No sound, no pain, no movement. They said I died that night, during Ramadan, at the exact moment I believed I was closest to God. But what I saw after that, what I was shown, has divided everyone who has heard it since. My name is Yusuf Karim. I was 46 years old, a husband, a father, a man who had observed Ramadan every year of my adult life with discipline and sincerity. I prayed, I fasted, I gave charity. I believed I understood my faith. I believed I was living it correctly. But nothing in my years of devotion prepared me for what I experienced the moment my heart stopped. And even now, as I speak, I know some will believe me, and others will reject everything I say. But I cannot remain silent, because what I saw was not meant to stay hidden. This story is based on a real testimony, but identities have been protected using AI. The last thing I remember from this world was the taste of water on my lips as I broke my fast. It was simple, ordinary, a moment I had lived through countless times. Then came the pain, sudden, overwhelming, like my chest was being crushed from the inside. I heard my wife call out, her voice filled with panic, but I couldn't respond. My vision blurred, my body collapsed, and then everything went dark. But the darkness did not last. I became aware of myself again, but not in my body. I was standing, though not on ground I could recognize, in a place that felt both vast and close at the same time. It wasn't empty, it was filled with something I cannot fully explain, something that felt alive, aware, and deeply intentional. I knew instantly that I was no longer in the physical world, and strangely, I wasn't afraid. Not at first. Then I heard something. It wasn't a voice the way we hear voices, but it was clear. It called me, not by sound, but by recognition. And in that moment, everything inside me understood that I was being summoned, drawn towards something beyond my control. I began to move, not by walking, but by being pulled forward through this space that seemed to stretch infinitely in every direction. And then I saw it. A light. But not like the light we know. It wasn't distant, it wasn't harsh. It was alive. It carried a presence so powerful that the moment I became aware of it, every part of me felt exposed. My thoughts, my intentions, my actions, everything I had ever done or hidden was suddenly known. And that's when the fear came. Not fear of punishment, but fear of truth. As I drew closer, I felt something I had never truly felt in my life, not even in my most sincere prayers: complete humility. Everything I thought I knew about myself, about my faith, about my righteousness, it all felt small in that moment. Then the space around me changed. I was shown my life, not as memories, but as experiences I lived again. Every prayer I had performed, every fast I had observed, every act of charity I had given. But alongside those, I saw something else. The moments I had rushed through prayer without presence, the times I had judged others while believing myself to be more devoted, the subtle pride that had crept into my heart without me even realizing it. And then I heard the words that shook me to my core. You honored the form, but you forgot the heart. I felt it like a weight pressing into my soul, because I knew it was true. I had followed the rituals, the structure, the outward expression of faith, but there were moments, many moments, where my heart had not been fully present, where my intentions had been divided, where my actions had been more about appearance than sincerity. Then I was shown something that changed everything. I saw others, countless people, some who prayed differently, some who believed differently, some who struggled, some who doubted, and yet among them I saw hearts filled with sincerity, with humility, with genuine longing for truth. And I realized something that I had never truly understood before. It is not just what we do, it is why we do it. The presence made it clear without speaking it directly. Actions without sincerity are empty, but sincerity, even in imperfection, carries weight beyond what we can see. Then came the part that has divided everyone who has heard my story. I was shown the state of the world, not as countries or borders, but as hearts. I saw division, not just outside, but within communities, within families, within individuals. People arguing over correctness, over details, over who was right and who was wrong. And in that division, something was being lost. Unity, compassion, understanding. And then the message came, clear, unavoidable. The path was never meant to divide hearts, but to awaken them. I felt tears, though I had no physical body, because I understood the weight of what I was being shown, that faith, in its purest form, is meant to draw us closer, not just to God, but to each other, that humility matters more than pride, that sincerity matters more than perfection. But I wasn't allowed to stay. The moment I began to fully grasp what I was being shown, everything shifted. The light began to pull away, the space started to collapse, and I felt myself being dragged back with a force I could not resist. Then came the impact. I gasped, loud, violent, desperate, as air rushed back into my lungs. My chest burned, my body shook, and the sounds of this world came crashing back all at once. My wife was crying, calling my name. People were shouting. Hands were on me, trying to steady me. I was alive again. But the man who opened his eyes that night was not the man who collapsed. The first words I spoke, I didn't plan them. They came from somewhere deeper than thought. It's not just what we do, it's what is in the heart. The room fell silent. No one understood what I meant yet, but I knew I couldn't ignore what I had been shown. Since that day, my life has changed completely. I still pray, I still fast, I still follow the practices I have always known. But now every action carries a question with it. Am I present? Am I sincere? Am I acting from truth or from habit? And when I began to share what I experienced, the reactions were not what I expected. Some people understood immediately. They said it resonated with something they had always felt but couldn't explain. But others rejected it. They said it challenged too much, questioned too much, opened doors that should remain closed. And that's why my story has divided people, not because it denies faith, but because it calls for something deeper than surface-level understanding, something harder, something more honest. So I ask you this. If everything you do outwardly looks right, but your heart is distant, does it still carry the same weight? And if sincerity is what truly matters, how would that change the way you live, the way you speak, the way you treat others? Don't let this be just another story you hear and move past. Let it sit with you, reflect on it, question it, because sometimes the most important truths are the ones that challenge us the most. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you felt while listening. And if you want more stories like this, stories that go beyond the surface and into the deeper questions of life and what comes after, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Because in the end, it may not be the perfection of our actions that defines us, but the sincerity of our hearts when we choose to act at all.